A brief expression of the AhlulbaytPlus Tarteel Recitation by Lofi and Shia translation. The Holy Qur'an, Juzu 1, relaxing warm recitation ambience. We are not doomed beyond divine control. There is no doubt in the revelation for each soul. We take on what we are given in remembrance. We'll observe what you ordain for each time from hence. Let's step away from the plots and deserve a better recompense. The forbidden magic is taught to make clear the temptation. Be concerned about the influence that befalls your own nation. It was not the prophets that came up with the various religions. Juzu 2. Hail to the omnidirectional face. Religion is beyond human tradition. Respond to the godly direction. Fighting is to regain what was wrongfully prevented or taken. Fulfilling only the requirements is not to be mistaken. Speculating is distinction. Personal hating and liking is not the same as an ethical or moral decision. Love of God, more than all else, is for all the best drive of beliefs and actions. Juzu 3. Turn direct rather than to possible intercession. All will find loss in understanding the details of their condition. It is usually better to do nothing than follow it with mistreating it. Attestation is essential for the worldly contracting. Loving and obeying is made necessary for revelation and inspiration. God may reveal the plan of the future impregnation. Life comes forth to show that matter can also be the vehicle of resurrection. Consider how an exemplar prophet was to restore what was actually prescribed and remove the artificially forbidden. If people were more considerate, they would not invent, but treat each prophet of God as a continuation. It was not for them to exaggerate their position. The Holy Qur'an, Juzu 4. Restriction beyond scripture is still labeled as part of religiosity. Results of life will leave some countenances lighter and others darkly. Differentiation is not the point, but the presence rightly. Death only comes by permission, and our focus should be on being loved as the goodly. The trance comes in to relieve us of the effect of what was missed and infernality. Welcome in the garden for avoiding hostility. Mistakes can be stepped aside from in further liberty. Keep us from the stingy and forbidden ways. Holy Qur'an, Juzu 5. Try not to sneak off if you don't have to. Divorce can be prevented too. Devils befriend those who give preference to another way. Those who stay on the way revealed find the best company. Prayer and charity extends its principles through the greater reality. Murder by the sectarians establishes their infernality. There is such as disability, but others need to make the struggle. Some need to flee to practice their faith. But we are not to advocate for the wrongdoer. It is about the best from the inside and outside of every deed. Juzu 6. Consequences are meant to humble. It is not for each soul to receive the most important discourses directly. God defined the true boundaries. How we eat is part of piety. A spirituality based in the claims of scriptures is for those with whom to start a family. The gateways are to be entered. How we have been told, lest we end up like those who are withheld for 40. God is ever forgiving if we don't treat his words perversely. Each stage of divine light, love, and life confirms the others in its religiosity. Lead us on to the ultimate victory as we acknowledge every belief and action is a part of validity. Holy Qur'an, Juzu 7. Disbelief lacks sufficient reason. Those with the means are culpable towards counteraction. Control is had over the gamblers and those of intoxication. Disputes should be settled after the horizons. Don't bring afflictions upon yourselves, but earn a better abode. Everything is referenced by formulaic verses, but where are you turning? Forbidden is the so-called open-minded, mindless service to anything. Directions are approached by the sectarians. Beyond this realm is my reward and liberation. The verses of nature and of ourselves are there to confirm the revealed and inspired orientation. The Holy Qur'an, Juzu 8. Arch enemies were appointed for who already declared to be the arch enemy of the humans. Despite any reason, we can only be approached from so many directions. Religion will never be mere amusement or distraction. Those of the reward and those of punishment will have mutual recognition. Satan will be the friend to some, but others will adorn their divinely prescribed submission. Action is needed to confirm signs. Let's use reality rather than baseless claims of teachers. Sometimes, from the waves of society, we need a deliverer. Regardless of any witnessed corruption, the patient party will remember the coming distinction. Holy Qur'an, Juzu 9. People get extra chances. Miracles are more than they are projected. The workers of evil magic may experience what will convince them of real power. Keeping your pacts is not just about having a really great leader. Transform as you reflect, like with 40. Why do you exaggerate your respect to other animal bodies? Some gain the blessed water and others stir up divine anger. Blasphemy with divine names and other deeds turn humans to the worst of beasts. What will you do about the censoring? The Holy Qur'an, Juzu 10. The days of salvation are those of a rightful struggle. There will be the enhancement of souls by the fight in the way. Material means and bodies are martyred, even if living. The immigrants and residents work together like sisters and brothers. There is no deterrent from each being an interpreter. There is no divine family. Some treasure up as the stingy, but the true treasury is in presencing. Away from those of dishonor and the places of their division, away from intercession, and actualize each rank of honor. The sufferers will know that excuses will not be accepted anymore. The Holy Qur'an, Juz 11, don't be of those who seek to make excuses. Buildings of division will be a cause of emotionally falling to pieces. Some are to stay to learn, and others must go out into the world, preserving in a more physical way. Some don't know the evil magic from godly religion when it is brought into the light of day. Damnation is coming, but people don't know what that or evil means. People hurt themselves and not the causal by what they say. Own your fate before it's final. Owing the spiritual news bringers is not financial repayment. Make a life of that of which they were sent. It is willed that we make our own decisions throughout strife. For what is made clear, we should await and act to open ourselves to it. The Holy Qur'an, Juz 12. What would sorcery really be? It certainly wouldn't be the chapters that can't be successfully mimicked. The world to come is the fullness of how we have, do, and will have acted. Our dreams and the dreams of others can be fulfilled in some way. Prepare for 7 of trial by your abundance before those days. Before beings known for inner significance, reputations may need liberated in what they say. The Holy Qur'an, Juz 13. Incitement is limited. Guardians are over those who only seem abandoned. Reconciliation is that of which we may be invited. Express the truth, and the results will not be delayed. It is known what we say and what we will have endured. Emotions can be voided. Damnation is for those who think they will never be removed. The kingdom is known through symbols. So, don't become fettered and closed. The Holy Qur'an, Juz 14. How are you making the recited manifest? Are you of the possessed or to be destroyed? Even when the source is sound, we can still be surprised about what we have been informed of. When the forbidden is wanted, there may be something lawful offered. Astrology, plants, and the domestic animals are to be used as instructed. Angels are not all positive and cannot be refused. The macro and microcosmos have bowed. Some is for us, others, and to be disposed of. How have you benefited? And how have you been intoxicated? Our way of going about life is set forth, and there is time to be healed. Don't undo your words by being a mere mortal with a little enjoyed. Away from illusion and delusion, henceforth be on the ancient way of soul. Going back to 13, I mean, the second to last line before that, in 12. So prepare for the 7 of trials might be what I put there. The Holy Qur'an, Juz 15. Beyond results, ritual is about perfecting devotion. The time to repent ends, and the servants of the Apostle lead the destruction. Temples as shields will not protect the leaders of oppression. How are people incited by the hidden one's hierarchy of communication? Confirming the ways of the ancients will be further signs. Instruct about the cursed and the wondrous in visions. Keeping up the required is well and good, but now is the time for supererogation. Supererogation. Rather than speculate, be patient as to the mysteries of the spirit and subtle creation. What can humanity and the hidden beings do to mimic the recitation? Those of various paths know what to say in submission. There remains lessons beyond the letters of inscriptions. There is something that happens to a place of worship when it is overwhelmed by arguments about interpretations. Everything is referenced for those whose understanding is without occultation. And let me say part of the one line again. But now is this time for supererogation without occultation. Yeah. My comment on the Holy Qur'an, Juz 16. Await the meaning from the source. There are those going through who know what is best with their force. Help from both sides is needed to fulfill a treaty, of course. The seas and trees are not enough for the message of the apostle. Names are unique for some who become sages as children. They prove themselves beyond the educational. Many others turn against the most merciful. Fire is a tool or a sign of the informational. Earth keeps some on water and fills them with love in the observation. Distinguished will be the arts of the infernal. Was it Baal or Hathor to which the fleeing ones clinged? What remains was lost in the sea. The blast of sound will summon the sinners, and they will minimize. We don't have to continue in enmity, but can be restored by words from more than our eyes. The Qur'an, 17. Religion is not a play, but a way against destruction. Return by evil or by righteousness. Life ends for many, all of a sudden. Souls may be remiss, but every choice will come upon them. Inexperience and lack of rank doesn't really invalidate wisdom. Knowledge is known by manifestation for those who can psalm. Illness and other hardship is not always a punishing affliction. Some want to end it all, but how sure are their convictions? Sacrifice is for yourself and to loosen the restraint. Know what was the harsh ways in each previous nation. What were hail with each symbol and lash out only when oppression taints the shrines and temples. Upon each individual who has lived what is straight will be a reward. From who is even more great. The Holy Qur'an, Juzu 18. Thriving in the ultimate sense is based on how you act on what you are believing. Manifesting doesn't always happen in the expected order, for the acausal is to creation reacting. Regarding of ways that outsiders deem evil, the Lord of the animal is helping. Sending messengers with the best of counsels, whose religion was not for the dividing. Recognizing there is no divine partners, readies us for this world and age's closing. Reading what is sublime, the time is to take lessons and be turning. Stopping not from mere emotion and feeling. Form the best social connections and carry out the laws of punishing. Hearing is not always for your believing. Returning to what is best is possible for the willing. Shining beyond Eastern and Western, transcendence allows ways for our enlightening, our darkening. Reading of the animals is from water. Not taking of a family is the way of who sends warners. Bubbling and roaring is the everlasting fire. So, what did you enjoy in the face of the spiritual current of living? And by not taking of a family, meaning those who don't take divinity as if it's a family. You can enjoy the faces of the currents, the spiritual current of living. The Holy Qur'an, Juzu 19. It is not for all to be spiritually gifted. The universe came about in 6 periods, yet divinity continues the course situated over the dough of what exists. Celestial wonders have been set for the true sense of astrology. Between the positions of matters is what's best for the souls. Calling for our rights is not just some attempt to expel. Appointing means to be used aright. Your assent was made possible by the acausal. Disputing is not for itself and towards help. Also, is those who go out of their way to corrupt nature, turn against those beyond professionals. They didn't do the evil magic, but they exposed the prideful. Regarding position is secondary because there is content to counsel. A secret communication comes through to those with an attitude that lets in the bountiful. The results of the ways of 9 are a reflection upon all of that mode of divining ill. And I would put and now instead of a comma, corrupt nature and turn against those beyond professionals, because, the spiritual mission is not about that. And astrology, I don't mean the thing where you know, this must happen or this person's character is such and such because of this alignment or something like this. I mean, saying stuff using the stars. You can, you know, so there's some misassociations with that word and the word magic. So I extend it beyond magic and say evil magic, and you know, the Holy Quran, Juzu 20. Those who merely go their own way limit their answers. Those with spirituality find their way through shadows and water. It directs an actuality towards the hereafter. Not all who seem to be of your own party are. Dismiss the enemy and part ways. When you are hopeless and without family, there can come opportunity. Consider the possibility of news and tools. Don't hold back on conveying the signs that will convince the fools. When life is merely for the self, it is most astray. Misassociations fail us, and communities have, are, and will be destroyed. Authority over you is not always operated on the terms that a causal of a causal, or even as they say. Prophecy is appointed so peoples can be reconciled to the inner and outer signs, working night and day. The Qur'an, Juzu 21, respectfully disagree till they throw in blasphemy. Heavenly rewards are passing emptiness and infernality. Vanity is not what to believe in, but something that has some verifiability. Kingly powers have been defeated, but the turnaround can be surprising. Divinity bestows opportunity for partners by the qualities of humanity. Naturally is the system of judgment, the true orthopraxy and orthodoxy. Empty teaching is not the way of a wise man to his family. Loudly and ostentatiously is not how have your say, but more subtly. Heavenly and earthly are, in their time periods, situated over. Sleepy are facing distraction. Be of those who respond. Surely the prescription is about guardianship and not misappropriation. Honorably is our interaction with relations and those of whom we are friendly. Apostasy is the presentation to those who can dismiss it steadfastly. Brotherly and sisterly, we join in battle for the coming kingdom. Hypocrisy and material loss won't faze us. We liberate ourselves by our provision. Indecency is only upon those who do it intentionally. And by partners, I don't mean shirk, the misassociation. You know, making partners in divinity, that's not the way that I mean that. Decency is only upon those who do it intentionally. The Holy Quran, Juzu 22. Religion is not just claiming, but acting out the revelation and inspiration. Men and women are needing to work together to bring out further upon reflection. News bringing of a sort becomes sealed, but it remains in form and influence beyond blessing. Limitation needs to be upheld about divorcing, and for the final hour, be preparing. Position in society should not be taken as justification. The acausal knows what emerges and penetrates all, but there are still those who doubt the hour. The fire beings take the visual signs as informers. Those with abundance may want to be to their efforts an extender. They face remorse and face the multiplier. The light beings are of different facets, and those of their side have long been accused of being liars. Messengers have been grouped together as confirmers, but a responsibility rests on the individual till they reach the returner. The Qur'an, Juz 23. Some want light beings to join them, but won't even do their duty on their platform. Reviving the land and the cycles of the heavens indicate the consciousness for their travels. Trumpeting sound will be heard, and that will be the end of the journey for more than burials. Satan leads the way of the criminals. The recitation makes matters clear for each soul. Scaring in ranks drives some out. Decisions are made to send some and their spouses to hell. Recreation is not the same as sacred scriptural. Provision for the righteous are the heads of devils. Visions are fulfilled before some deeds are carried out upon an individual. Submission can be sudden and complete, are disregarded for some ball. Prostration is made in perfecting the way, and it leads to the successional. Reiteration, so pleasing to the minds. Emotions, and can be so sensual. Aversion is clearly felt in the disbelieving, or even a simile to being more than mortal. Let's say reiteration is so pleasing. The Qur'an, Juz 24. The greatest evil is not worldly deeds. The greatest good of creation is those who live their creeds. Identify your state and station. Your real need is to work with the signs. There are positive qualities and coming retribution. Watch for the descent of provision and the spirit bidden. Is it restoration or change of religion? The time comes for people to manifest beliefs they kept hidden. Unity and duty to others comes through in revelation. People wish to be corrected by angels, but plenty was found in the diversity of conditions. In the early watches, they face the undesired reactions. So much was not hidden to the fire beings and humans. The like of your false excuses was said before. The Holy Qur'an, Juz 25. The reference to the beginnings and the ends is to the causal. Conscientiousness is for the good times and the bad. Truth was enough for what they had. Has what was treated as gods and goddesses laid down religions? Weather control is of what of these entities? Weather control is what of these entities despaired. What befell was a result of their own hands. Learn from the remains of the ancient. Rides we mount and ornamentations are further lessons. The eternal wealth will be on the inheritor souls. Will be with. No. be with the inheritor soul. It is not for us to go through intercession, but be like one who is of a sign of the final hour. Other things come through heaven, and there are more expressible signs. What matters is intention and action that breaks the seals caused by conjecture. Qur'an 26. Truth is between us. The best of models is available for each nation. From the first 30 months to your 40th year, learn not to fuss. Some bar the way and others yearn with the aligned consciousness. They are the means to cut off and capture till the war lays down. Some give themselves over to random conservatism, and others are liberal. Water, milk, pressed juice, and honey are uncorrupted rivers for those who attained beyond the celestial. Our rank is a step in a structure that is sent on the platform of soul. Then is the sending of the presence into the believers who take the oath. These believers don't change the word. Start with the presence upon them for the pledge of the tree. These believers who don't. What is a messenger, and what does that path produce in you and me? Our expression is thus lowered in the presence of the message. Who is better, and what ways of talking about others is sage? For each soul will be a provoking and a witnessing. Uncertainty is ours as we are known deeper than the inner whispers. We are scattered, and the celestial is ordered by paths. Our speculation is doomed to fail. Perplexity can be answered and coupled with bestowal. Qur'an, Juzu 27. Who knows what the wind will leave behind? The believers are the ones who truly find. Service to the divine is not provision, because the causal is beyond need. The natural world will be stirred, and those who just play will be pitched. The prepared will find what they have been promised, where no expression is wasted. Unique discourse is the means to protect from the punishing wind. What souls desire is not the truth of the beings of fire. Speculated names and genders are not reality for the beings of light. Duality is created and ruled over by the god of the dog star. He divided the moon for real and not mere magic in the hour. The Lord of this world and age has made something easy to remember, fourfold within the five: cosmological, hermetic, mystic, social, and pedagogical. 31 bounties are within 32 sections. It matters what the impact is from clay beings and fire beings. Some barriers are meant to be broken and others stay pure. Perfect is what we were. The address remains for each being of choices to reflect. Those of the right, left, front, and back can connect to a protected and hidden book throughout the time of falling stars if they approach it as pure. Connect to the power of the macrocosm, microcosm, beginning and end. Verses and other signs shall be your enlightener. Hypocrites will be unable to benefit from any Lucifer if they don't walk the walk of a messenger. Holy Qur'an, Juzu 28. Family conflicts are divinely known and answered. Divine qualities are further summarized. Terms of marriage need to mutually be actualized. Believers arrange compacted and against their enemies. Believers who arrange compacted and against their enemies are supported. Fridays are times for sermons to be given methodically. Testifying of what is known to be true will not leave the disbelieving covered eternally. No matter the form, the concealed will be revealed. Breaking up requires restraint for those who want to divorce honorably. There is a difference between personal choices and the forbidden. Bad and good examples are known for family. Qur'an, Juz 29. Bless with the power over death and life. Are you on a mighty morality that gets you through their projected strife? Upon their like was a destroyer storm of 7 nights and 8 days, as would have been upon the inventor of religion with a rife constricting. Hail to the Lord of Ascent for those exceptional ones of steadfast ritualizing. Antediluvian ways were all well and good, except the old ones were still what they were worshipping. Of the fire beings are those who are conveying of the recited guidance of which they were listening. Between the dusk and dawn is extra reciting for lengths that are varying. When you adorn yourself for secret rites, go beyond thoughts of ganging. The thoughts that there will someday be a resurrection leaves some souls self-reproaching. Times were such when there was no mention of the humans, but now they can work towards being sealed between delights of eating and drinking from the abundance of seeking the way. Loosen those who must come forth with severity if it can't be delayed, but prepare by action and believing. By antediluvian, we mean before the flood of Noah, which in the Quran was not a worldwide flood. I'm not supporting a creationist approach, so I thought I'd just mention that because some misassociations about that. The Quran, Juz 30. You quiz each other about the mighty tidings. To what do they falsely muster, and are you ready for the drawing out? Who was it that was turning, and what can be brought out? Heavens will be darkening as matter and spirit are reunited. The earth will be scrambling in the face of those who were doomed. Yet, people will be defrauding till they lose expansion and find themselves finally restricted. The cosmos will let it all out, and those with books of the right and behind will find their fate sealed. Constellations are related to the promise for those who persecuted and those who turned to the most loving. Are you ready to learn about what is more piercing are of the self-beguiled? Open and secret are known, but those readying have remembered. True stories already enveloped the self accounting. All the best 10 nights of the year are for the perception of practicing. We are individuals that are capable of choosing right in our placing. In the brightening of life, we are culpable for what we have been changing. In the darkening of life, diversity has some different purposes for those who could be purifying. Forsaking not the creation, the causal has some things we should say. Expansion and relieving are towards a deliberate quest. The human was upon its best nature and still is when beliefs and actions are best. The dedication is for who enabled us to put it into writing. Exposition is made of the 1,000 months of empowering. Purification was not needed for what humans didn't compose, but after it was clear people are dividing. Vibrations will not be a local problem in a time we witness that it all was counting. Now, I should have said made of more than 1,000 months. Are you charging together with the right host? The clattering will bring some to what is pleasing and bring to the blazing pit of fire. It is not just what you are upon, but towards what you are counseling. It is time to learn about the crushing, ever kindling, and enclosing fire. The birds and stones will turn some to failures. The winter and summer have lessons for composure. Doom is denied by those who are wayward about social and spiritual character. Of your abundance is for ritual prayer and sacrifice. Service differs, so be on your way and nice to others. The true victory is the crowds that are joining what you are maintaining. Perishing wealth and anger can be so constricting that a causal ever relishes in distinction. We are refuging from all sorts of ill. The Lord of clay beings and fire beings can protect us of the influence of both. And I should have said from, and so none of this is actually straight up translation, but it's a comment based on, the aforementioned program.